You'll see hundreds of pairs of abandoned shoes here on the Capitol later today. The critical message the group behind this makeshift memorial wants everyone to hear.
And mixed reactions are pouring in from the community and our former governor on the ongoing impeachment inquiry into President Trump in Washington.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday, September 26, 2019. I'm Josh Breider.
And I'm Leah Lynchide. Meteorologist Hattie McLean joining us this morning, talking about a crisp start to our Thursday.
Yeah, finally feels like the end of September this morning. If you step out the door, you'll notice that it is a little cooler outside this morning, but skies are clear. Take a look at the live shot from the WISC-TV Skycam. Lots of sunshine in our forecast today. Look at some of these numbers, though. We're holding steady at 53 here in Madison, down to 46 in the Dells, 44 in Camp Douglas, so north of Dane County. A little chilly early today. Temperatures will rebound nicely, though, through the 50s, back into the upper 60s, which is right about normal for this time of the year. A look at those traffic maps will show you what's happening on the roads in and around Madison this morning. No major delays just yet on the Beltline or in the downtown areas. Are starting to see the usual crowd show up at Stoughton Road and the Beltline, but otherwise no accidents around Dane County or the surrounding areas. And that's your first alert traffic.
Boy, we've been spoiled all week. I'm sort of mad. We already put away the kayaks and the canoe. Perfect week to get out on the water.
That is true. We do have a lot of rain in the upcoming forecast, though, so some of those river levels will be rising.
You might need those for the street.
Gotta bring it back out?
Yeah, let's hope not.
Fingers crossed. Thank you, Addie.
You're welcome.
All right, 6:01 right now. The whistleblower complaint that sparked an impeachment inquiry into President Trump could be released to the public as early as today.
That complaint has been declassified and could provide more insight into the president's conversations with the leader of Ukraine. Members of Congress have already seen that complaint and say it's 10 to 12 pages long at most. The House Intelligence Committee chairman is calling the whistleblower's allegations deeply disturbing and very credible. Some Republicans say the call summary shows no direct evidence of quid pro quo, while Democrats say the suggestion is there.
This is how a mafia boss talks. What have you done for us? We've done so much for you.
Yesterday, a summary of one of President Trump's calls with the Ukrainian president was published. He insists he did nothing wrong during the call, saying he also fully supports transparency. The acting director of national intelligence will testify before the House Intelligence Committee today. CBS News is planning to bring that to you live later this morning.
Now, as this conversation dominates national headlines, Wisconsinites have mixed reactions. Dodge County is one of the reddest counties in the area. In 2016, 62% of the vote went to President Trump, and in 2018, 62% also went to Scott Walker for governor. Our Amy Reed went to Dodge County to talk to those who have stuck with the Republican Party through the midterms and those who haven't to see how they feel about the inquiry.
I personally don't think they're going to find anything, and he's going to run out his term, and who knows, might even get reelected for the next term.
I am really embarrassed the way the United States is being run now. Terribly. In my opinion, he's done way too much that's impeachable.
Now, others we spoke with are preparing for it to get worse, worrying the inquiry will divide the country even more by the time the 2020 election comes around.
Former Governor Scott Walker also getting involved in that conversation. On Twitter, he wrote, quote, "Democrats have been waiting for something to justify their desire to impeach President Trump since the day he took office." The former governor added he knows how the president feels, comparing it to the 2010 recall election here in Wisconsin.
A Rock County man is being commended for his life-saving efforts after he pulled a woman trying to jump from the Newark Bridge to safety. Mike Tuttle says he noticed the woman while he was driving by and immediately turned around, parked his car, and helped her down. He says he's not a hero, but rather the woman was saved by her guardian angels.
She was awful close to falling or jumping, and I believe her guardian angels held her back. The Bible says that we all have guardian angels, and thank God for that.
Tuttle says he and his wife have been in contact with the woman's family and plan to continue to offer love and support.
At the state capitol, legislators are calling for more funding for suicide prevention. A report put together by lawmakers from both sides of the aisle asks for $110,000 every year. That money would help fund the Hope Line, a service that allows people to text a trained crisis counselor when they need help. Right now, the state does not contribute to that service. Now, this is all part of an ongoing conversation this month on the topic.
The Center for Suicide Awareness is once again assembling its Empty Shoes Memorial to highlight the more than 900 Wisconsinites who die by suicide each year. Christina Laurie joins us live this morning from the state capitol with more. Christina?
Good morning, Josh and Leah. Jerry Siren is a Marine, and he now works with Veterans Affairs here in the state of Wisconsin. Suicide is something that you know well, and you say it's something that you live with every day. Can you talk a little bit about your story?
I suffer with suicidal ideation, and I work with vets through the Veterans Outreach Recovery Program to help suicide awareness and prevention through QPR, which is question, persuade, and refer.
And that's a strategy anyone can use.
Yes.
So first you're supposed to, the Q step, question. What does that mean? What does that look like?
When they reach out to you, you ask them questions about how they're feeling, if they might want to harm themselves, or you don't ever want to ask them, are you going to kill yourself?
Okay.
Because the answer is going to be no.
Okay. And then the P?
Persuade. Persuade is you try to persuade them, you talk to them, you listen, and you persuade them about what's important to them, about what their purpose still is, about that they're not alone, they're not worthless, they're not a burden.
Does that usually work?
Yeah.
Okay, in that step, and then you go to R?
Then you go to R, which is then you refer them to mental health, to treatment, to support groups, to veterans hotlines, crisis hotline, WISC Vets hotline, which has trained staff.
And you were discharged back in 1992, but you said these suicidal thoughts, they are something that come back again and again. Is that something that happens with everyone, not just veterans?
Yes. It's not just veteran Pacific. The thoughts, nothing can make them go away. You have to learn how to manage them, deal with them, accept them, and feel better about yourself so they're minimized.
And that intervention is often the most helpful when it happens within 5 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit more about that coming up in the next half hour of the show. But for now, Josh and Leah, as you mentioned, the Hope Line is a great resource right here in Wisconsin. You just text Hope Line, all one word, to 741-741. You're connected with an online counselor that can help you walk through any difficult time you're going through. It does not have to be suicidal thoughts.
And of course, we have that information, that phone number, up on our website. Christina Laurie furthering a very important conversation this morning. Thank you, Christina.
All right, to more headlines around the state this morning. Two brothers in Kenosha County accused of making illegal vape cartridges are scheduled to be back in court today as they face a combined 8 felony charges. Prosecutors say Tyler and Jacob Huffines ran an illegal THC vaping cartridge and drug ring. Police found almost 130,000 vaping cartridges and more than 100 pounds of THC oil in a raid of the brothers' condo. Police were tipped off when Tyler Huffines posted videos showing the illegal cartridges and other drugs on Snapchat. The brothers' preliminary hearing is set for 9:30 this morning.
A business on Madison's Near East Side will be back open today after the owner says a burglar caused some minor damage this week. Police say 64-year-old David Arndt is facing charges in that case. The owner, John Chandler, says he called police just after midnight yesterday after he got an alert on his phone that someone was trying to break into his bar and music venue, the Art Inn on Washington Avenue. He was able to monitor surveillance video in real time. Officers say they saw Arndt inside the building trying to open an ATM with a crowbar. Then he tried to run when he saw police.
Hairs on the back of my neck stood up. You know, it's just seeing somebody in your space that you know so well, and then there's somebody who shouldn't be there. It freaks you out at first.
Had just installed that camera this week after someone else broke in on Sunday. He says police were able to recover the money and bottles of liquor the burglar had taken.
A 26-year-old man believed to be the suspect involved in a recent string of sexual assaults in downtown Madison is facing charges this morning. Luis Rizugalti was arrested Monday by the Violent Crimes Unit. He faces tentative charges of burglary, fourth-degree sexual assault, battery, and attempted second-degree sexual assault. Police say there could be more victims, but as of now, they have 4 reports on their record. The assaults happened over a 7-day span.
The McFarland teacher accused of child enticement is scheduled to be back in court today. Andrew Meeks was arrested last month on suspicion of multiple felonies, including child enticement and exposing a child to harmful material. He has not been formally charged, but was banned from the village of McFarland under the terms of his bond. He also can't have contact with anyone under the age of 16. Meeks was working as a 4th grade teacher at Wabisa Intermediate School when he was arrested. He has since been placed on leave.
10 minutes past 6 o'clock right now. A driver involved in a fatal hit and run on Madison's north side is now facing tentative charges after turning himself into police. 60-year-old Daryl Sunderlage was hit crossing Northport Drive about 2 weeks ago and later died at the hospital days later. According to police, a traffic investigator was able to identify the driver after finding his SUV. The driver, 21-year-old Brandon Eiler, turned himself into Madison police this week along with his attorney. He faces tentative charges of hit and run involving death and operating while revoked, causing death.
For the 2nd year in a row, the Brewers are in the playoffs and eliminating the Cubs while they're at it. The team is continuing its killer September with their 19th win of the month. The team's 9-2 victory at Cincinnati, putting them at 88-70. That looks a whole lot different than September 5th, when the team was only 3 games over 500 and 5 games behind the Cubs for the NL's 2nd wildcard spot. The team is celebrating, but they're still keeping in mind what's at stake.
And tonight we celebrate, but there's still a lot to accomplish. I mean, obviously, the division is still within reach, and I think at least trying to get home field for the wild card game is something that remains a priority. So we celebrate tonight, but we got to move on quickly and continue to try to win more games.
The best thing about this run, it was somebody different every night. Somebody who's stepping up. Whether it was starting pitcher, a guy out of the bullpen, somebody in the lineup, and we were able to string a lot of really good games together, and we're going to have to continue to do that.
The Brewers face the Reds today at 11:35 before finishing the regular season in Colorado. Bit of a quick turnaround time, assuming they stayed out kind of late last night.
Yeah, hopefully they didn't do too much celebrating, but that was really fun news to wake up to this morning.
Really fun video to wake up to, for sure.
That's awesome. Good for them. All right, 6:11 right now, and still ahead for us on a Thursday morning. Lots of people switch to a vegetarian or vegan diet because they think it's healthier. But there's a new study showing that diet might actually put you at more of a risk for major health problems. Our medical expert, Dr. Mara, joins us next to explain.
Plus, things are starting to cool down outside. Hattie's got a look at a beautiful forecast for your Thursday and a beautiful sunrise to start it. That's when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
This portion
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. I'd say it's a little chilly outside this morning, but a pretty nice day is expected. Take a live look this morning from the Edgewater Sky Cam. Skies are clear, so lots of sunshine in our forecast. Soak up the sun today because it's definitely not going to make an appearance much tomorrow. Tomorrow is an alert day for showers and thunderstorms on and off through the day. Rain in excess of 1 inch could lead to some flooding issues across southern Wisconsin. Unfortunately, that's not the only alert day in the forecast, though. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday have been added as alert days. We're going to see multiple rounds of rain across the area, and some of that rain may be heavy at times, leading to additional problems with flooding here in southern Wisconsin. Now, here's a look at what we're talking about. Through the day on Friday, it's mainly going to be a rain event for the southern part of the state. You can see that some of those rain totals for southern Wisconsin in the 1 to 2 inch range, while northern Wisconsin stays mainly dry. As we put this map into motion, though, through the weekend, right into next week, the forecast models are bringing quite a bit of moisture back into the area, really honing in on southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois as kind of a bullseye for some heavy precipitation. We could be adding up several inches of rain by the time we get to early Thursday morning next week. So that's why those alert days are in the forecast. Now, currently, our temperatures across the state range from the 30s in the north. A little chilly in Superior this morning, 37 degrees, 47 in Eau Claire, 53 here in Madison. Milwaukee now has dropped to 56. Let's take a closer look at some of those numbers for southern Wisconsin. We are seeing some 40s on the map to the north of Dane County this morning. In the Dells, it's 47, and it has dropped now to 44 in Camp Douglas. Platteville also down to 49 degrees. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. There's a lot of sunshine in our forecast today, though. Even despite that cool start, should be a pretty nice day with temperatures back into the mid-60s by lunchtime. Light west-southwesterly winds, definitely not as strong as yesterday, will allow temperatures to climb into the upper 60s this afternoon. Normal high for this time of the year is 69 degrees, so we're going to be pretty close to that today. Staying quiet through the evening hours, but temperatures will drop back into the 50s. Rain becomes likely as we head into tomorrow morning. Your extended forecast is really up and down with those temps. Down to a high of just 62 on Saturday, but through the day it looks dry. Rain returning late Saturday into Sunday, and then we'll warm it up for a couple days next week. But we're not likely to see a lot of sunshine as we go through the first part of the week. Now let's get a look at those first alert traffic maps. This is the time of the morning. We send it over to Jason Stone for all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No issues on the Beltline with only minor congestion on the Stoughton and Verona interchanges. Drive time on Verona Road is reasonable between the Beltline and Highway PD. All other routes into Madison and around Dane County are clear. And drivers are having no problems making their way downtown. Some slight crowding on East Wash. Otherwise, traffic is sparse on the Isthmus and campus at this time. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
All right, Jason and Hattie, thank you both very much. 6:18 right now. A recent study in the British Medical Journal took a look at vegan and vegetarian diets and found while those people had a lower risk of heart disease, they have a higher risk of stroke.
Dr. Mandira Mehra joins us from SSM Health this morning to talk about why that is. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you heard Josh and I, we talk a little bit about plant-based versus meat. We both grew up with quite a bit of a culture of meat eating, and sometimes we feel better when we're eating plant-based meals. What exactly should we be doing here?
I think you guys hit the nail on the head. This is just a hot topic right now, especially for people that really want to do good for the environment, people looking for meat alternatives, all the hype around the Impossible Burger. But in all seriousness, this, I think, was a shocking study for a lot of people because the argument always is that vegetarians or vegans compared to meat eaters do have overall healthier lifestyles. I mean, it's shown that it decreases blood pressure, decreases cholesterol, diabetes, heart attack rates. So why this increased risk of stroke? We don't know exactly why. This raised a lot of interesting questions. We have a lot of interesting theories. We do want to remind people that this was a study that looked at 48,000 people over 18 years. So it is a large powered study over a decent amount of time. However, it's an association and not a cause and effect. So what we mean by that is even though we saw a 20% increase in hemorrhagic strokes, which is the type of stroke where you bleed versus a clot, in the vegetarian and vegan population, we don't know, is it literally because of the diet or other lifestyle changes and associations. One of the theories here is that when you do a vegetarian or vegan diet, you may be deficient of certain nutrients. One of those nutrients is B12. B12 is often obtained through that meat diet that we were talking about offline here. The other thing is it lower cholesterol levels that actually prevent those heart attacks that may increase your risk, again, of that hemorrhagic stroke. So when we're talking about the ultimate question, the debate that you guys have, that doctors have, that we all have today, is do we do the vegetarian vegan thing or do we do the meat thing? Right now, the guidelines still are to overall eat a wide variety diet, increase the vegetables, decrease some of the red meat. If you compare the rate of hemorrhagic stroke to heart attack, overall heart attack is more prevalent. So if you had to put, a bet on this, it would be overall the vegetarians and vegans were still healthier because they had 22% less risk of heart attack, 22% less risk of diabetes, cholesterol, those kinds of things. The hemorrhagic stroke is less common, but yes, that did increase their risk. So a lot more further studies will be needed to really explore this topic. For now, you guys are both right. We're both right. We're both wrong. We don't really know. Other things to be looked at, like you just mentioned, will be dairy versus non-dairy, meat versus non-meat. Overall, vegetarians were healthier, but at the end of the day, like we were talking about, if you have a well-balanced diet, if you have colored vegetables, you have the protein, you have minimized some of those bad carbohydrates, we think you'll be okay.
For now, I think I'm okay with my burgers.
Everything in moderation. I know I love a good burger.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mara.
Great to be here.
All right, still ahead for us. Your kids might be seeing some new playground equipment pop up around the city. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the upgrade you could soon see at the area playgrounds.
Not a bad day to get outside and play. Hattie is talking about just a beautiful, crisp fall Thursday in store ahead of some rain. Hattie's forecast is up next on News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back. Just a beautiful, beautiful sunrise coming over Madison today. We could not be happier with that sight.
Yeah, we didn't get to see this yesterday, so certainly nice to see it today. Enjoy the sunshine today because clouds and rain are in the forecast tomorrow. With those clear skies overnight, though, it's definitely cooler than it was this time yesterday. Temperatures are anywhere from 10 to almost 20 degrees cooler this morning. Here's a look at the actual numbers. Some 40s on the map, 47 in the Dells. Platteville is down to 49. Camp Douglas is at 44. We've been holding steady at 53 here in Madison, and Janesville is at 54. That being said, you might want a light jacket as you head to the bus stop this morning. Lots of sun, though. Beautiful on the playground at lunchtime, 64 degrees. 68 is the high. Again, enjoy that sunshine today because tomorrow might be kind of a wet one. You're going to want to bring the rain gear tomorrow with on and off showers and thunderstorms through the day. High temperatures stay in the 60s right into the first part of the weekend. And that's your First Alert forecast.
And thank you very much, Hattie. An update now on our Coats for Kids drive. As we close in on 2,000 donations, we're up to more than 1,800 coats and other winter accessories collected. A reminder, there's still a little more than a week left to donate. The drive runs through next Saturday, October 5th, and we have collection bins in our lobby, or you can also take your donations straight to the Clinky Cleaners locations across Dane County. Those items donated will be distributed starting October 15th. 6:26 right now. You might notice some new playground equipment going up at parks across Madison.
Oh yeah, about $1 million is spent by the city every year on those upgrades. That's been standard since 2013 when staff started an effort to replace about 120 of the city's 180 playgrounds. They say that's because most are reaching the end of their service lives, and it's necessary to get up to date with safety and accessibility standards.
About inclusivity, it's really about making sure that all park users feel welcome and that they have opportunities to essentially play together. It's everyone from the younger children to the grandparents.
The city aims to upgrade 10 to 17 playgrounds a year. You can find a list of projects currently underway. See if they're in your neighborhood up on channel3000.com.
Lots of kiddos will be excited to see that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, still ahead for us. We've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door.
And our Christina Laurie will join us live from the Capitol to tell us everything about an event that's remembering lives lost and sharing an important message. Stay with us. News 3 Now This Morning is back after the break.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for staying with us on this Thursday, September 26th. We're waking up to a quintessential fall day. Crisp morning out there.
Yeah, you might want a light jacket early today, but a nice afternoon coming up.
All right, we'll get to your update in a moment, Hattie, but first, let's get to the top 3 things you need to know this morning. The acting director of the National Intelligence is set to testify on Capitol Hill today about the whistleblower complaint at the center of the House impeachment inquiry. Members of the House and Senate Intelligence Committees reviewed the whistleblower complaint, which includes a phone call between President Trump and Ukraine's leader. That complaint is now declassified and should be released to the public this morning. The president is calling the impeachment inquiry a big hoax.
The second story we're following this morning, a little more local. The Brewers are heading back to the playoffs, clinching at least a wild card spot with a win over the Cincinnati Reds last night. This is the first time the Brewers have made the playoffs in back-to-back years since 1981 and 82. They still have a chance to win the division as well. They trail the St. Louis Cardinals by a game and a half, with 4 left to play.
And rounding out the top 3 this morning, 3 counties in the northwestern part of the state are in a state of emergency this morning following strong storms and a tornado Tuesday night. Governor Evers declared that state of emergency yesterday for Chippewa, Clark, and Dunn counties. The National Weather Service has given the tornado an initial rating of an EF3. That's something very rare for this time of year.
Much quieter this morning on this Thursday for southern Wisconsin. Here's Hattie now with a look at your forecast. Hi there, Hattie.
Good morning, Lee and Josh. You're right. We have a beautiful start to this Thursday morning. Clear skies outside, lots of sun in the forecast. Take a live look from the Edgewater Skycam as the sun comes up today. Official sunrise in about 20 minutes. Here's a look at Weather Track. You can see how those clouds cleared overnight. No cloud cover in the area at this hour. We'll stick with mostly sunny skies through the day. Temperatures are starting off a little chilly. 49 in Platteville, 47 in the Dells, 50 in Mineral Point, down now to 51 in Monroe. Madison still at 53 degrees. As you head out the door this morning, you might want a light jacket and the sunglasses. Temperatures will climb to highs in the upper 60s this afternoon. A look at those traffic maps will show you what's happening on area roads this morning. No major issues still on the Beltline or in the downtown areas, although there are starting to be some slowdowns showing up on Stoughton Road. Otherwise, drive times into Madison, a little bit slower inbound on Verona Road as you approach the Beltline. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. 6:33 your time now. You might see hundreds of abandoned shoes outside the state capitol later today.
It's part of the annual Empty Shoes Memorial, honoring 900 people who die by suicide in Wisconsin. Christina Laurie is there live this morning with why this conversation is so important. Christina?
Josh and Leah, 1 in 5 of the Wisconsinites who die by suicide every year are veterans. It's the second leading cause of death among adolescents between the ages of 10 and 19. And the bottom line here is that suicide really impacts everyone. That's something Jerry Searin knows well. He joins us again. Thank you so much for talking about this. I know this is an emotional topic. You yourself have struggled with suicidal thoughts, but intervention in a certain time period is really crucial. Can you talk about that?
Suicidal thoughts normally lasts only 5 minutes. So if you can intervene during those 5 minutes, you can prevent suicide. You need to change the thought pattern.
Okay, and what has helped you? Because these suicidal thoughts, you're a Marine, but they weren't prevalent in your immediate discharge from the services.
For a while, I always just thought I was smart enough, I could talk myself through it, that I'm not worthless, not a burden. And then it shifts as you get older to purpose. And purpose is like, to some, their pets or something. Sometimes children isn't really the main purpose because you believe in your head that they'll be okay, but that's an illogical thought. But suicidal thoughts are illogical.
So you have to find what works for you, and for you that really was your animals.
Yes.
What animals?
My horses and my dogs.
And it's because, why? Why not your kids? You have kids as well.
The kids are resilient. In your thought pattern, you think they'll be okay because there are other parents there, the family will take care of them. But your pets, where are they going to go? What's going to happen to them? Will they go to the pound and be put down? Will they be killed? Your horses, will they go to slaughter? So you need to have purpose, and the purpose is to stay around to take care of them.
And you work so diligently to help veterans find their purpose, help everyone find their purpose. And for that, we say thank you so much, and thank you for talking to us on our
Thank you for
show.
saying that.
We really appreciate it. And Josh and Leah, there are a number of resources. There are people like Jerry you can talk to, but you can also text the word Hope Line, all one word, to 741-741, and you're connected with an online crisis counselor who can walk you through any difficult time you may be going through. It does not have to just be suicidal thoughts.
All right, Christina Laurie live with a very important conversation this morning. Christina, thank you.
6:36 your time now. Coming up in the morning sprint, we have a preview of the Packers game as they prepare to take on the Eagles in Thursday Night Football.
And we know Leah's excited to talk about this ahead.
Whoop, whoop.
Luke Bryan is coming to town tonight for a special music tour that features farms.
Break out your Cowboys.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. We thank you for that, and we will be right back. .6:39 right now, time for My Morning, and our unofficial staff photographer, Brad, sending in another shot from Highland this morning. I picked this out. I did not know it was from Highland right away, but Leah, you pointed out.
You should have known, Josh. Any beautiful sunrise is coming from Highland.
Or your other 4 counties you call home.
Anywhere west of Dane County, you know it's going to be beautiful.
Well, hey, we love shots like this, so thank you so much for sharing, Brad.
If you have a photo you'd like us to feature on the morning show, send it on in. Send it to our Facebook page or email it to us at tips@channel3000.com, and we will show it right here on the program.
All right, more local news now that Leah is super excited about. The nationwide tour is bringing a big-name country artist to a Dane County farm today.
Oh yeah, Luke Bryan's farm tour is making a stop at the Stats Brothers Farm in Marshall. This is so cool, folks. It's the first show in a 6-town tour, with other stops in Michigan and Ohio this week, then Kansas and Oklahoma next week. Luke Bryan says the idea is to bring big shows to small towns that otherwise wouldn't be able to host a concert. The farm event starts at 6 tonight at the Stats Farm on County Road VV, but Tickets are sold out, unfortunately for me.
Now, you'd imagine even if you aren't going to the concert, it is expected to create some major traffic issues. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says you can expect delays between Marshall and Sun Prairie starting at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Already at 2 this afternoon. That's crazy. If you aren't going to the show, you should avoid Highway 19, Highway N, and Highway T. You can see all of that on your screen right now. A reminder, though, parking on the side of the road will not be allowed.
What a neat event to go to, though. You're so used to going to concerts at big venues. On a farm, this just screams me.
This is an awesome tour, and good for him for highlighting the farms across the country that obviously these people doing work every day and working very hard for us to be able to live.
Yes, wish I could be there to watch it. All right, still ahead this morning, we are waking up to cooler temperatures in the air today. Looks pretty nice out now, but showers are on the way this evening. Hattie's First Alert forecast is coming up next.
But first, if you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning. Stick around.
Look at
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Beautiful start this morning. Clear skies early today across southern Wisconsin. That's good news. We're going to stick with that sunshine all day today. So for the Luke Bryan concert tonight at the Stats Brothers Farm, take a look at these temperatures. Sunshine as the concert starts at 65 degrees. It will drop quickly, though, those temperatures as the sun sets, down to 59 at 8, and as the concert comes to an end at 10, temperatures still in the upper 50s. An increase in the clouds is expected, but no rain in the forecast through the evening hours. So actually a beautiful night for a concert. Here's a look at alert days, though, in the forecast. We do have a lot of rain coming up, and it starts early Friday morning. Showers and thunderstorms on and off on Friday. Could be adding up over an inch of rain, which means flooding is possible across southern Wisconsin. And then unfortunately, the wet weather pattern continues right into next week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are all alert days. Multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms are expected that could produce some heavy rain, and we could be talking several inches of rain by the time we get to Wednesday. And again, here's early Thursday morning, just after midnight. This is total rain between now and then, and you can see sort of a bullseye of heavy precipitation for southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Now, these numbers will likely change several times over the next couple of days, but you sort of get the idea where we're looking at for that heavy rain. Even the Northwoods picking up some rain, but definitely not as much as we're looking at here in southern Wisconsin. Now, today, though, things are much quieter. A cold front to our east, high pressure building in from the west gives us lots of sunshine, but already here's the next weather maker on the map in southern Canada. That will bring chances for rain by early tomorrow morning. No airport delays if you are traveling this morning across the country. Travel looks pretty good. Through the central part of the country along that cold front, St. Louis down into Tulsa, some rain is possible. Take a look at some of these temperatures, though, for the southern part of the United States. Still approaching 100 degrees in Dallas, as well as Jacksonville, Atlanta, mid-90s today. A lot of heat on the map. It is just confined to the southern tier of the U.S. We're going to be about 30 degrees colder than that here in Madison. Take a look at some of our numbers this morning. It is a chilly start in the Dells, 47 degrees right now, 53 in Madison. Mineral Point has dropped to 50, and Platteville is now down to 48. So some spots starting off awfully chilly this morning. Winds are light from the west, and they will stay westerly through the day, not as strong as yesterday. Lots of sunshine and a pretty nice warm up into the mid-60s by lunchtime, topping in the upper 60s this afternoon. Again, staying clear through the evening hours. It's overnight that we expect an increase in the clouds, and then rain becoming likely by tomorrow morning. Your extended forecast, temperature-wise, is very up and down. Temps will drop to highs in the low 60s on Saturday, but most of the day should be dry. Rain returns then late Saturday into Sunday and sticks around through much of next week. We could cool down as well to highs in the 50s by the end of next week. Boy, look at this trio in our Pet Walk forecast from Middleton. All decked out in the Packers gear. That's perfect. The game is tonight. Not a bad day for a walk as well, 68 degrees.
They're prepared.
Yes, they are. I like the fireplace. I'm like kind of like drawn into that.
He's focused on that. I'm into the green and gold.
I was like, they're so cute.
Yeah, thank you very much,
You're
Addie.
welcome.
All right, stay with us for the morning sprint.
It's 6:51, time for the morning sprint as we give you everything you need to know as you head out the door.
We start in Washington this morning, where the acting director of national intelligence is set to testify on Capitol Hill today about the whistleblower complaint at the center of the House impeachment inquiry. Members of the House and Senate Intelligence Committees reviewed the complaint about President Trump's phone call with Ukraine's leader. That complaint is now declassified and could be released to the public as soon as this morning.
Former Governor Scott Walker is getting involved in the conversation as well. On Twitter, he wrote, quote, "Democrats have been waiting for something to justify their desire to impeach President Trump since the day he took office." The former governor added he knows how the president feels, comparing it to the 2010 recall election here in Wisconsin.
Breaking right now into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, police in the East Side are investigating social media reports of men looking into women's windows. They say they've heard a handful of incidents happening on the East Side. Madison police are asking anyone who experiences this or sees it happening to call 911 and report it.
New information just into the newsroom this morning. China says it will start buying U.S. soybeans and pork again. That announcement comes ahead of next month's talks between the two countries with the goal of ending a costly tariff war. Beijing earlier announced it was lifting punitive tariffs on soybeans, China's biggest import from the U.S.
3 counties in northwestern Wisconsin are in a state of emergency this morning following strong storms and a tornado Tuesday night. Governor Evers declared that state of emergency yesterday for Chippewa, Clark, and Dunn counties. The National Weather Service has given the tornado an initial rating of an EF3, something that is very rare for this time of year.
And our forecast today starts with clear skies. Sun coming up now across southern Wisconsin. Enjoy the sunshine today. Temperatures starting in the low 50s, climbing to highs in the upper 60s this afternoon. Still a west wind today, but not as strong as it was yesterday.
Thank you very much, Hattie. At the state capitol, legislators are calling for more funding for suicide prevention. A report put together by lawmakers from both sides of the aisle asks for $110,000 every year to help fund the Hope Line, a service that allows people to text a trained crisis counselor when they need help. Right now, the state does not contribute to that service.
You'll see hundreds. Okay.
You'll see hundreds of pairs of shoes on the lawn of the state capitol today. This is the third year the Center for Suicide Awareness is assembling its Empty Shoes Memorial. The memorial visualizes the impact of suicide here in Wisconsin. The most recent numbers from the Wisconsin Department of Health Services show 918 Wisconsinites died by suicide in 2017. Organizers of this memorial say suicide impacts everyone in our community and hope the shoes will not only bring attention to the impact of suicide, but connect people to resources that can help. One of those is the Hope Line, a 24/7 free text support line. Just text the word Hope Line, all one word, to 741-741 to connect with a crisis counselor.
Christina, thank you. 2 brothers in Kenosha County accused of making illegal vape cartridges are scheduled to be back in court today as they face a combined 8 felony charges. Prosecutors say Tyler and Jacob Huffines ran an illegal THC vaping cartridge and drug ring. Police found almost 130,000 vaping cartridges and more than 100 pounds of THC oil in a raid of the brothers' condo. The brothers' preliminary hearing is set for 9:30 this morning.
A driver involved in a fatal hit and run on Madison's north side is facing charges after turning himself in to police. 60-year-old Daryl Sunderledge was hit while crossing Northport Drive about 2 weeks ago. The driver, 21-year-old Brandon Eiler, is now facing a number of charges, including hit and run causing death.
A 26-year-old man believed to be the suspect involved in a recent string of sexual assaults in downtown Madison is facing charges this morning. Luis Ruiz-Ugalti was arrested Monday for the Violent Crimes Unit. He faces tentative charges of burglary, 4th-degree sexual assault, battery, and attempted 2nd-degree sexual assault. Police say they have 4 reports on the record from a 7-day span.
The McFarland teacher accused of child enticement is scheduled to be back in court today. Andrew Meeks was arrested last month on suspicion of multiple felonies. He has not been formally charged, but was banned from the village of McFarland from having contact with anyone under the age of 16. Meeks was working as a 4th-grade teacher at Wabisa Intermediate School when he was arrested.
The Madison Water Utility Board says the F-35 jets could impact our drinking water if they're stationed at Truax Field. PFAS contamination has already been found in well 15, which is less than a mile from Truax. Board members want the problem to be fixed before potentially adding infrastructure and jet capability to Truax.
You have a chance to learn more tonight about a proposal that could cut down on your commute time. The idea behind Madison's bus rapid transit proposal is to cut down commute times by offering specialized buses and dedicated lanes for traffic. That could cut down your time on the road by up to 25%. Tonight's open house is from 6 until 8 at the Madison College Truex campus.
The Brewers are headed back to the playoffs, clinching at least a wild card spot with a win over the Cincinnati Reds last night. It is the first time the Brewers have made the playoffs in back-to-back years since 1981 and 82. They still have a chance to win the division. They trail the St. Louis Cardinals by a game and a half with 4 games left to play.
All right, to the green and gold now. The Packers defense is proving to be the star of the show for Green Bay through their first 3 games. They forced a league-high 8 turnovers, 4 fumbles, and 4 interceptions. We'll see if they can hold that standard when the Packers play tonight at Lambeau. Kickoff 7:20 against the Eagles.
6:56 now. Jason Stone has a final look at your first alert traffic. Hi, Jason.
Hello. The westbound Beltline is becoming crowded at Stoughton Road to West Broadway. Elsewhere is at the posted speed limit. And no major issues on John Nolan. Expect routine lineups at the intersections. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
All right, Jason, a look at your commute times on a Thursday morning. Not too shabby of a start out there, Hattie.
No, not at all, but don't forget the sunglasses this morning. We have clear skies across southern Wisconsin. All roads are going at posted speeds right now. Look for a pretty quiet day weather-wise. Here's the view from the Edgewater Skycam. Clear skies over downtown Madison and Lake Mendota. A little bit chilly this morning. We're down around 50 degrees, but we'll climb back to highs in the upper 60s this afternoon. Again, sun expected all day today. The rain moves in for tomorrow.
All right, Hattie, thank you.
And thanks so much for joining us this morning, folks. Enjoy that sun today. We'll see you back here tomorrow.